Welcome back to this re-review. Today we are looking at a Bachmann locomotive, and it is the Bachmann 57XX Pannier tank in London Transport livery. Now, brief history. These were one of the most numerous types of locomotives built in the history of UK railways. I think over 900 of these were built, and they were very common on the GWR. They could be seen practically in every part of the Great Western Railway network, particularly on branch lines and in shunting yards and places like that. But they were very common. And the London Transport, and they were built between 1929 and 1938, I believe, and it was a designated 57XX class. Lots of Pannier tanks were built for the GWR, but the 57XXs were the most numerous ones. The London Transport liveried ones, these were sold off to London Transport from the GWR in 1961, and they were replaced in 1971, and they were the last ever steam locomotives on the London Underground network. So yeah, and this particular one, L89, is one of the preserved ones, and I believe it's currently, I don't know what livery it is currently in, but I believe its number is 5775, which in fact is the same locomotive that starred in The Railway Children, which is a movie from 1970. So, and there are quite a few of these still preserved. But anyway, let's get on to the detail of this really stunningly gorgeous model. Wow, just look at that. Look how beautiful she is. She's very adorable. I love her. Just look at her. I mean, sprung buffers, which is usual. Getting them coupling, both the front and at the other end. Sprung buffers on the rear too. You get all these rivets on the buffer beam. An L89 number. Very characteristic look of a Pannier tank, and it's a Pannier tank because the tanks are here on either side of the boiler, but they're sort of like hanging above the running plate, whereas on other tank engines it be placed on the running plate, whereas this is kind of hanging above. There's a smoke box door which doesn't open, but you know it's but you know, I suppose you can't have everything. But there's plenty of detail. Just look at that handrail, London Transport, and just look at all this detail here. I mean, water cap openers, the dome, whistle, safety valve. Just look at all that. Isn't that amazing? On the other side is very nice as well. You get a footstep at the front to gain access to this part to clean the engine. But just look at the wheels. I mean, just look at them. Wow, I love the maroon colour on the engine. And the wheels are very nice. You can get brake blocks and the brake rods as well, which are on the exterior. On most locomotives they're on the inside in between the wheels, but on this particular locomotive, well, not this particular one, but on this particular type, it's on the exterior. So I suppose it was easier to fix, obviously. So it was easier to fix. But you get footsteps at the back to gain access to the cab, and footsteps here to get up to the coal bunker. Sprung buffers You get a brake pipe there. Oh, bad focus. Come on, there we go. You get a brake pipe there, rivets all the way along. You get all these hooks to carry tools, and it says L89 on both the back of the bunker and on the buffer beam. And speaking of the bunker, there's the coal, which looks rather nice, to be honest. And the cab, you cannot see a lot of it, but the detail is pretty much there. You can clearly see the reversing handle, which is painted out, but you can't, but it's quite dark. But in good lighting, you'll notice that the cab detail is there. In fact, you could just put it there and just zoom in. Oh, focus. Just wait for the camera to focus. Yep, there we go. You can see a bit of the cab just behind the reversing handle. But it is there, which is nice. Look at all this detail here. And the sandboxes as well on both sides. So yeah, overall this is just a magnificent little engine. Really, really adorable and quite heavy. For her size, she is quite heavy. I mean, which gives her loads of tractive effort. Well, not loads, but you know, fair amount of tractive effort. Wow, absolutely amazing. I mean, let's have a brief look around her one more time. Yeah, she's just amazing. But now let's see how amazing she is at performance. Here we have the Bachmann class 57XX Pannier tank on the track. So let's have a brief look around her. Yeah, very nice. Let's just zoom in on her wheels. Yeah, as you can see, they are lovely. And let's give her some juice and off she goes. Wow, let's just speed her up a bit. There we go. Just look at that. Let's get a few close-ups of her wheels. Yeah, very nice. Overall, she is handling it very nicely. Yeah, let's get a few line side shots of her. So yeah, overall I think she's just a brilliant model, very adorable. I just think she looks really, really nice. And the livery on her is just beautiful. You know what Bachmann are like. They can make very nice models. So can Hornby, but when it comes to detail, Bachmann can be very good. Hornby can be very good at times as well. Just to be fair. she comes. In conclusion, I highly recommend her. Whether it's in BR Black or Great Western Green or whatever livery, or even this livery, I recommend her. She's just a fantastic model. I recommend her to any GWR fan. In fact, if you are a fan of the Great Western Railway, you need one. You need to have one, because the 57XX were one of the most common steam engines, if not the most common steam engine on the Great Western Railway network. So she is recommended, highly recommended, and a need for all GWR rail fans. But anyway, thanks for watching, and see you in the next re-review.